So today the plan was to come here to the paddock, go through the bike, get geared up and do some riding. Yesterday we purchased our tires, so today in the morning we installed a new front tire with the bib and a new rear tire with the bib. Got those on. With plans going to the test track, I wanted to have the eco tires on just to get a feel for how they're gonna handle on the soil and the dirt that we're gonna be riding. Then we went through the rest of the bike, just double checked everything, made sure that we had oil in there, that we had the air filter, that everything was tight, and front to back, double checked everything. So we were all set. The test track here is just across the road. It's just a small 10, 15 corner little special test. We can test the suspension, go over there, ride for as long as we want to, and get a feel for the terrain. I was most excited to just see how the dirt was gonna break down, to see, we've been spending some time walking through the hills. We've had some moisture, we've had some dry days, and I was really curious to see how the dirt was going to form with this amount of riders, what the turns were gonna look like, if they were gonna get ruts, or if they're gonna be hard packed. We headed over there, it's really dusty. Looks like it's gonna be a dust race, desert race. And the turns, the soil here is really hard packed, really hard dirt, lots of rocks in it. All the soft stuff is pushing to the outside, and every corner, it just makes a big difference, the line choice, and whether you're hitting the bumps, whether you're tiptoeing on the inside, or being a little bit more aggressive riding the outside. So it was really good to get a feel for the bike. Bike's working awesome, totally prepped. All the work we spent working on the suspension, I'm totally comfortable with it. Throughout the week, I may make a couple adjustments with the clickers, but we were right on with sag, and all our work and preparation before we came here is all set. Just making sure all my gear is gonna work, new helmet, new boots, making sure that everything's breaking in good. But it was a good time just being able to feel out the bike and feel out the soil. The rest of the day, we're just gonna tidy up some stuff on this and then continue walking special tests. So we finished up all the stuff we had planned to do at the paddock today on the bike, all the testing and all that. We decided to take advantage of the afternoon and the daylight that we had, come out here and just keep walking tests. We haven't been to this one yet. It's the day one, test one. We'll do this 2 times on day 1 and 2 times on day 2. We're doing our best to try and figure out the soil, but we got out here and yet again, another kind of shift and change in the sediment and the soil out here and the layout of the test. The entire test has been dozed with a tractor, and it's all decomposed granite. When we got here, today is Thursday, and there's puddles on the road up here. All this dirt saturated. The tests we walked yesterday were totally dry, and today this entire test is saturated as of right now. Today's Thursday, we will be racing this on Monday. Based on what's been occurring since we've gotten here, sporadically in the evenings, we'll get some rain showers, and it seems to be accumulating more on these slightly higher elevated terrains and these tests. We walked the whole test, took about 50 minutes. Not many specific features on this one. No ditches, logs, no jumps. The whole thing's relatively flat, but all sand, so it'll be a very aggressive test that you'll be able to charge. I'm pretty excited that this is the first one. Kind of get your wiggles out, and it's pretty far away. We drove about 35 minutes from the paddock to here, so we'll have a fairly long transfer section to get here if this is test 1, and kind of get comfortable on the bike and race it. I'm super excited for this stuff. I love sand. Trying to commit to memory and memorize the whole test just by walking it once, and then trying your best to visualize the whole test. It's good practice, and then I'll try and do that each day with each test to make sure that I can remember them. And on those tests that are a little bit more technical, choose a couple of my favorite lines that I want to hit. But really excited for this one. We're gonna head over to the other side. When we were on the far side of this test, we noticed some lath and ribbon on the other end of the hill that appears to be the other test. We got at least an hour of daylight, So we're gonna drive the rental cars over there, check out that test, and see if we can walk the whole thing before it gets dark. So we're just leaving the second Boothen test. You might be able to see it out the window. If not, we got a bunch of other shots of it earlier. But it lays in the same valley of the first one that was all sand. So we're just down here on the other end of the valley. The tests come close together about right here. And this one has a little bit more elevation, as you can tell. But that one was about 80% sand, and there's a couple spots where you drop off the plateau just a little bit, lose about 20 feet of elevation, and the dirt changes just a little bit. The topsoil on this whole valley seems to just be decomposed granite, and it's gonna be just big old whoops and berms. There was a turn track that you could see that sat in the same valley where the locals had been riding, and it looked like it just had big old berms. So we ran out of daylight. That was the second test that we walked today. We spent the morning working on the bike, and we got 2 tests in. These are tests that we'll be riding on Monday and Tuesday, day 1 and 2. So it felt pretty good to get those under our belt, walking them, seeing what they're gonna look like. We're just on our way back to the house now. Gonna eat some dinner and do it all over again the next day. It's a lot of work getting ready each day, preparing. It just involves making sure that the bike's prepared, making sure that you're staying fueled, and that you're walking these tests and trying to memorize those sections that you need to memorize. But it's always an awesome experience to be here, and one of my favorite parts is always just driving out in the boonies and trying to find these tests, and that moment you come around the corner and you just see lath and ribbon laying across the whole valley or up the side of a hill is always super cool. So we're gonna end today and get to it tomorrow.